Ladies and gentlemen, the following podcast is set for one episode. Your hosts from Columbus, Ohio and Westfield, Massachusetts are Michael Kirk and Nathan Wagner. Welcome to the Outlaw Mudcast. Hello and welcome to the Outlaw Mudcast, your digital audio dirt sheet for all things Supershow. Good morning, Nate.
Morning, Michael. Morning to our listeners.
Yes, good morning to all of you out there, wherever you are. So, this is the go-home show for Dragon Con. This weekend, Labor Day weekend, is the host to the big convention down there in Atlanta. It's going to be SRG Universe's first time out there. They've dropped a little more information. I know they've talked about there's going to be a singles event, there's going to be a tag event. The tag event's not usually, which I think usually they say is Friday. They're actually going to make it Saturday, just players that are there. Some opportunity to learn the game. This tag is different than singles.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, there's some complex rules to it. I mean, there's a lot of layers that can be involved in tag.
Absolutely. So if it's your first time ever touching the game, then yeah, tag. Well, I like tag. I think tag's fun.
Oh, it's a blast. I mean, the crowd meter going up all the time. There's a lot of, as you and I both know, randomosity when it comes down to finish rolls and breaking out.
Yeah. And speaking of crowd meter going up, of course, they also announced there's going to be a new tag team crowd meter.
That tag team crowd meter is going to be for multiplayer or for Tornado as well?
They didn't say. I assume it's. They really didn't say. It might be for both. I kind of think it's just going to be for multiplayer, only because in multiplayer, it's because in tag there's a lot more kickouts. They've essentially made it go, instead of going to crowd meter 5, it goes to crowd meter 8. So I'm assuming that that's not going to be the case in Tornado tag.
So a plus 8 to your finish roll, like as if plus 5 wasn't enough to get the job done.
I don't know. Well, what's gonna do is it's going to. So first off, one of the first changes they talked about they're going to make is they're going to actually introduce the idea you can get disqualified in tag matches.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. From what I understood, that basically from crowd meter 1, from crowd meter 0 to crowd meter 5, you will be able to be disqualified.
And then all of a sudden, in the singles, well, not a singles, in a straight up tag match, DQ will just randomly goes out the window.
In a multiplayer match, I guess when you get over crowd meter 6, it turns into chaos, and so stuff like that goes out the window. Now, again, this is just what they were talking about. There's nothing's been printed yet. I mean, obviously, all this could change now. By the time those cards are physically made available, but this is what they discussed. So, at 6, the other thing talked about is at 6, 7, and 8. Your partner's ability to save you decreases.
How so?
So basically, I believe at 6, your partner cannot save you on the first breakout roll, only the second and third. I think at 7, it's only the third, and at 8, there are no save rolls.
So basically, at 8, you lose.
Yeah, basically at 8, you lose. Yeah, because you can't roll less than a 5.
Yeah, because I mean, if someone gets a plus 8 to their finish, you're dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even at plus 8 to 5 is 13. You can't roll a 13. Your highest skill is a 10.
Yeah, I mean, unless you some way found a way to basically reduce your opponent's skill by 3, so they have a 2 at the bottom.
Actually, Super Hombre could still do it if you have, what is that? True Survivor.
True. That's true. Yeah, as long as you had 1.
You could have like.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Well,
you could have what's that? Airplane swing and play. Bump your 10 up to an 11, and then have the plus 2 on your third roll. So you go 13, I guess.
Yeah.
Sure, but it's very unlikely for other competitors, I guess, to kick out of a plus 8 finish.
It's going to be very different. Yes.
So anyway, that's exciting.
Yeah, we'll see how that plays. That's just they haven't shown us yet. They just talked about it on Outlaw Universe. There's also a couple new things. They also spoiled a couple of the new promo things that are coming out. First, they spoiled the new alt art for the Rager, the Dragon God.
Yeah, giant dragon. How appropriate for Dragon Con.
Just a giant dragon art. Not really wrestling related, but definitely Dragon Con related.
Well, as we've seen in the past, I mean, this game is kind of shifting forward, in a direction where it doesn't necessarily have to be wrestling. I mean, look at the professor's competitor cards. He has a picture of a car on one of his finishers.
Yeah, how that
So-
works exactly, I have no idea.
And then even Brock Smith has one with a dog on a guy.
But you could feasibly put a dog in a wrestling ring. I don't know how you get a car in the.
Well, actually, I mean, there has been in wrestling, and I mean, look at Stone Cold. He drove a milk truck, or not? That was Kurt Angle. Stone Cold drove a beer truck to the ring. Eddie Guerrero came down in a car. So cars have been a part of wrestling, but not in the ring, so to say.
Right, Alberto Del Rio's gimmick, WWE very early, was driving every week driving a fancy new car, parking at ringside, or at least by the entrance from backstage. So they also finally put out, and we talked a little bit about this privately, not on the show, but they also put out the Coven spoiler. They fully spoiled the Coven. So I'm gonna go over the card and the finishes and tell me what you think.
Yeah, that was spoiled on the Big Guy show, correct?
That was actually spoiled on a Royal Rumble Radio,
Oh, Royal
which
Ramble
is
Radio. That's
which is Brian Wait for It Schmidt's show.
I like that card. I noticed that the gimmick is essentially all three of the individual competitors' gimmick on one card.
Yeah, let's go ahead. I'm gonna read those. I'm gonna read the gimmick, read stats, read the gimmick, and then get your reaction. All right. So the Coven, and pictured on the art is essentially the art for Vampire Sekhmet, Vampire Bastet, and Rager the Dragon God, the original, not the big dragon. And it's the stats are as follows: Power 30, Technique 15, Agility 18, Strike 27, Submission 24, Grapple 21. And the gimmick is, during your turn, when you hit a strike, bury 3 cards in any player's discard pile. Submission, your opponent discards 1 random card from their hand. Grapple, look at the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck and discard 1 of them. Bury the others randomly.
So that is kind of like all three of their gimmicks, right? Essentially.
Might be it. I'm not as familiar with the Coven's gimmicks. I do know, I can see that, yeah, it might very well be. I mean, I know that the Ragers is a gimmick that triggers at the beginning of the game, where he looks at the top 6, and then I think buries, discards, and puts 1 back. And I
like
believe,
I like that though. The format, how they have something happens for each. When you hit a strike, when you hit a submission, when you hit a grapple.
I know trios are supposed to be a little more powerful than single competitors. My initial reaction is that this might be a little OP, because it's a gimmick that's going to trigger anytime you play a card on your turn.
Mm-hmm.
I can see this being a deck where you're for sure where you might pack all 3 rolling forearm, call of the crowd, strength and numbers, just so you can proc your gimmick twice.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing on here that says
once per
turn. Yeah, so every time you can play a card in your turn, you're going to be able to do one of those 3 things.
What is the grapple one? What does it say when you do a grapple?
You look at the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck, you discard 1 of them, and you bury the others randomly.
Yeah, call to the crowd would be absolutely nasty.
Yeah, so you call to the crowd, you basically take the top 3 cards in the deck, 2 on the bottom, 1 on the discard, and then you get to, if you hit a second card off card of the crowd, you get to do it again.
Yeah.
You hit a grapple, you do it again, strike, then you get to bury the discard pile. Yeah, this is going to be just huge deck manipulation.
The finishers are pretty cool too. One of the arts when we get to it, I'd like to say something about it. So
all right, well let's go ahead and get to that now. So we'll start with finish strike, Light's End. The crowd meter is +2. Your finish rolls are plus the crowd meter.
Plus the crowd meter.
So
And now in the new, with this new,
that's tag only. It's not trio.
oh right, okay, well,
Yeah, because that question came up in the forums, in the discussion group on Facebook. If that would trigger for that, and that was no, because that's specifically for tags, which is why I'm thinking it might not be for tornado tag, just for multiplayer tag.
yes,
Yeah. So, but
still
yeah, I
that's
mean,
strong. You could add the, if you're even at crowd meter 3, it's another 3 added on to the finish.
well, if your crowd meter 3, you get 5 added on.
Plus the crowd meter.
Right, but the crowd meter is +2. So when you play this at crowd meter 0,
Yeah,
crowd
yeah,
meter is
you're
now
right,
+2, so you
Mhm.
get +2. So you might play these with like the which ones are it's not it's what are the table ladder chain cards that add to the crowd meters? Is it knockdown?
The ones that raise the crowd meter.
Right.
Yeah, knockdown.
So I could see someone packing those in this deck. Get that crowd meter up to basically boost this.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Because crowd meter 2 you're getting +4. Crowd meter 5 you're getting +7. You can throw those in there and get it up to another. Imagine you have
Those
2 of
cards,
those.
though, the knockdown cards are kind of risky because they can backfire on you pretty quickly just by raising the crowd meter up.
Yeah, but to be fair, in trios, getting just a +1 is not as bad as say getting as it is in singles because all the numbers are triple.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
It's the same thing I've thought about with something like Schoolboy, where
Well,
Schoolboy's
Schoolboy is essentially, useless in trios.
really, I don't think so.
I'm sorry, not in trios. What was I thinking of? When you get it's 8 or less, right? So yeah, never mind.
Yeah,
It'll
because
never be 8 or less.
well, it's minus. It's minus. You're always gonna have -3. So, but I mean, -3 is not as bad when the card's trip. -3 in a single competitor match, it's taking your 10 down to a 7, and this is gonna take your 30 down to a 27. That's not a huge
Right.
decline.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, now the thing is, it's gonna trigger when you roll like a 15 or an 18. But really, on 15 or 18, you're probably kicking out anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Your opponent's probably kicking out anyway, even with the -3. I mean, 15, they're guaranteed to kick out. 18, it's possible they could roll. They could have rolled 3 straight 15s, but because I know that's one of the reasons why we hadn't talked about this, but with the Moneymakers card, they changed the gimmick from when we reviewed it.
Yeah, because they could have pulled Schoolboy with their gimmick.
Yeah, they could have just kept spamming Schoolboy thinking every time they just stop, they get put it back in their hand and then play it immediately. That would have just been nasty way to just spam Schoolboy. But yeah, Lights End. I like Lights End. I like the finish rolls being plus the crowd meter. It's a solid, simple boost. So, and with that, you're always going to be +2 to your finish, even if crowd meter is 0. And actually, well, there's no crowd meter boost in trios anyway. But if there had been, this would take it. I mean, there's no crowd meter 0 ruler if you roll your highest stat. But all right, so let's go on to the next one. Blood Oath 5-5-5. Which apparently, if I knew the man behind this card, I'd know what that means, but I don't. So this is just very simple, straightforward. +2 to strike, +8 to grapple. It makes your strike and your grapple go from 27 and 21, 29, 29 respectively. So you'd have a 30 and 229. And of
That's
course,
good.
then,
crowd meter 0. That's pretty strong.
Crowd meter 0, that's strong. Yeah, crowd meter 1, you're gonna have 31 and 230s. Crowd meter 2, you got a 50% chance of just winning the game outright. Yeah, that's just a strong, bonus. It's a strong.
What's
crowd
the
meter
text on
bonus.
this card?
No text. Just simply 2 bonus. bonuses, and that's it. +2 strike, +8 to grapple, and nothing else.
The last finish is the submission one. I like the artwork on it a lot.
Yeah, it's essentially taking a little page out of the Undertaker's gimmick. Looks like the trio, the Coven is putting saves a Wicked Witch in a casket. And this card, the submission, is called the Sacrifice. It is a spotlight card, so it has a discard pile effect. +3 to technique, +3 to agility. Those are the two lowest stats. So it raises your technique from 15 to an 18, and your agility from 18 to 21. And the text, which takes effect where the discard pile is. When this card is in your discard pile, and your opponent is not a trio, and the word trio is written in gray / it's written in the dark gray text, their gimmick is blank. So what that means was written in that dark gray text is if your opponent, this text works when your opponent is not a trio card. If you're playing 3 single competitors, or if you're playing a single competitor and a tag competitor card,
So
this gimmick triggers.
That's interesting because I know there's been a lot of speculation about are they gonna
Yeah.
change the format so that you can only use trios only cards.
Right.
And with the text that's on that card, I'm thinking probably not
This
anytime
text,
soon.
yeah, this text would suggest that yes, you're correct on that. That they're not going to be making that change. Now, granted, it's possible this was in the pipeline before that, and they're still making changes.
Well,
But yeah, this definitely suggests that you're going to be able to, in trios format, still play 3 single.
even if it was in the pipeline, I know that before there probably would have been ample times where they could have changed the text on it before it got printed.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, who's to say that still they could do something to the format, whether it be tornado or trios, where they make it so you can't mix heels and faces, or Newman and Valiant.
Yeah, we can definitely. Yeah, there's still a lot of things up in the air. Although there just was something we talked about that we'll talk about in a little bit. But I can see people. I can see this card being a card you might pack Destiny's Call in your deck.
Just to blank their gimmick, yeah.
Just to blank their gimmick, yeah.
Kind of like how I like to do that with Scarlet Graves and get the Scarlet Fever in the discard pile to blank the gimmick. That's effective in Tornado as well.
Yeah, because I can see for sure this essentially. I mean, because I've seen nasty trios. I mean, the one that the one that the Grump Danny Thunder was using in the match against Poverino for the first trios championship defense.
It was Scott Prime, Ariel, and
it was Scott Prime, Merlin von Berlin, and Various.
Oh, it was right. Not Ariel. It was Merlin von Berlin, right?
Yeah, it was Merlin von Berlin. Yeah, because just to be able to go because that was one, because he was able to sort of change that agility to that power,
but
on a regular basis.
I don't believe he has a 30 on that card though.
He doesn't, but he does. He's got 325s, 227s, and I want to say an 18 is the lowest.
So you got plenty of opportunities to get your shots in. I mean, but the other side of it is if your opponent hits you even on crowd meter 0 with 30, you lose.
Yeah. Yeah, but you're basically relying on the idea that statistically you're going to win most of the turn with that stat. Which, to be fair, is what happened when I was watching that match between Poverino and Danny Thunder. That Danny was dominating. Literally, the reason Poverino was able to stay in it is because I think
botched a bunch of finish rolls. I think what it was, and John.
No. He rolled 27, 28, 29. It's just John hit 27 the first time, and then 30 the next two.
Oh.
He literally just he rolled like he basically rolled. He rolled the stat. He rolled what he had to roll to basically stay alive. He had a 1 in 6 chance to break out twice on his finish rolls, and he hit it twice.
The dice gods were forever in his favor that day.
The dice were just completely. He was on fire with his dice. When he needed it, he had it, and then eventually he got throw 1, and he rolled 33. That was it.
So do we have any other Dragon Con stuff?
That's the only Dragon Con. That's all the Dragon Con news that's been out. There's been no real update to that. There really haven't been any updates to the new stuff. Well, let me take it back. There's been no update to this. There's been no update to anything from Marktoberfest. Still going to be September 21st. Still registration at noon, bell time at 1 up at our Recess Games in North Homestead. They did release some information and make tickets available for the Impact Bound for Glory.
Yeah, I saw like a weekend pass package or something.
Yeah, let me. I've actually got that here. We read that now. So, Bound for Glory weekend package, $45. And here's the text that comes in that post. This is on the SRG website in the shop section under special deals. First one that comes up when you go to the special deal section. $45 for the ticket. The SRG Universe team is taking over Impact Wrestling's biggest show of the year, Bound for Glory. The big show is going down on Sunday, October 20th at the Odeum Expo Center in Chicago, but the SRG Universe team will be on site making a weekend out of it. This package gets you one ticket to Bound for Glory, and it says all tickets sold by SRG Universe will be seated together, so you'll be able to sit with all the other people going for the game. One ticket to All Glory, the Bound for Glory pre-show going down on Saturday, October 19th, and one entry into the Supershow tournament at the Odeum Expo Center before Bound for Glory. It also includes meet and greets, photos with the Impact wrestlers and knockouts, autograph signings with the Impact wrestlers and knockouts, and the last thing will be you get to hang out in Chicago with General Manager Calais and Loudmouth Leo Laird.
That's the biggest appeal of it all right there.
Yeah. And then, of course, they do have a little disclaimer that the autographs, meet and greets, and photos will be included with the Impact wrestlers and knockouts I'll be working with Universe, which will be determined at a later date. This package does not include any Impact Wrestling signings of Bound for Glory or All Glory that are organized by wrestling. So, if you go to a meet and greet that's an Impact specific meet and greet, you're gonna probably have to pay out of pocket. But for this, it's all included. I'm sure Sammy's going to be there. Probably some of the other
Brian
OVE
Cage,
guys.
I would assume.
Brian Cage definitely may be there.
Johnny Impact.
I don't believe Johnny Impact is with Impact anymore.
Really?
Yeah, I believe he is gone. He's gone some separate ways.
That's surprising. I thought I just saw him on an Impact show like not too long ago.
Yeah, I thought I saw somewhere where he did not re-sign. I could be wrong about that, but I thought last time I saw it.
Well, I couldn't see him going back to WWE.
Well, AEW said they've only revealed 40% of their roster.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Did you see the new? This is it's kind of been a slow weekend as far as Super Show, but
Yeah.
As far as wrestling talk, for those interested out there, Jon Moxley is injured and will not be at All Out, and they replaced him with Pac or Neville. So Neville will be going against Kenny Omega this coming Saturday.
Yeah, he was supposed to be part of Double or Nothing, could not make it, but now he's going to be part of All Out.
That match should be awesome. Like, I'm actually looking forward to Neville versus Omega more than Moxley versus Omega in a street fight, because the street fight concept really didn't do much for me, but the Neville versus Omega is just going to be a clinic.
All right. Yeah, it's rough getting MRSA in your elbow.
Yeah, what exactly is that? Is that like a staph infection of sorts?
MRSA is I'm not sure, I'm trying to remember what MRSA stands for, but basically it's a type of a bacterial infection that is resistant to antibiotics. So those can be very dangerous because they can't be treated with normal antibiotics.
Ugh, so I mean that must just be like surgery only then.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure how you treat that, but it is a type of staph infection that is resistant. That's what makes MRSA such a threat.
All right.
All
Well,
right. Well, since we talked about the what they're calling 2020 vision, one of the things they talked about on the Talk of the Universe when it comes to 2020 vision is they're I know a lot of us have been wondering, what are they going to do? Are they going to like errata some, are they going to errata some gimmicks? Are they going to ban some characters from tournaments? And it sounded to me what they were saying, at least part of their solution, is going to be basically taking things out of print. And I don't know how effective that's going to be.
I think so. If you take something out of print, what's going to happen is a couple of different things. There's going to be, so I say I want to get Grim.
Yeah.
Let's just assume that he's going to be one who goes out of print. And now
Right.
he's sold out on the website. And it's like, obviously, there's, if I say to you, Mike, hey, do you have an extra copy of Grim? Well, yeah, no, I don't. I only have one, Nate, and I don't want to get rid of it. And that's going to force people to trade with other people. And not who's going to want to give up something that's just out of print, you know?
Well, not just that, but it's also going to basically, okay, now,
Secondary
hey,
market's going to get jacked
secondary
up.
market's going to get jacked up, yeah. And two, we have one card that's out of print that I'm using as an example, and that's the EC Splash that you can play on turn 1.
Yep.
All right, has that being out of print since basically the first print run for EC3? Has that kept that being from being in the tournament scene?
No.
Okay, so would taking, say, Aerial Lipstick out of print keep Aerial Lipstick from being in the tournament scene?
Absolutely not. You're still going to have the same number of people show up and fight for diversity with Aerial Lipstick.
Yeah, I don't. So there might be more changes, but if the change right now is just alone taking certain problem characters out of print, I don't know that it's going to fix anything.
That's just going to make it harder for new people who get into this game who are collectors to get their hands on product. That's, a new player who doesn't know much about the strategy of the game or whatever is still going to enter a tournament at Gen Con and sit down against an experienced player playing Aerial Lipstick who's had Aerial Lipstick since the day one. You know what I mean? They're going to be like, where can I get that card? Well, sorry, it's out of print. That doesn't really change anything. It's just taking stuff out of print isn't going to prevent people from playing it if they already have it. It's just not going to let other people who are new get it and play it.
Yeah, and it's also a little hard because when you have something like AJ Styles that's out of print, people will understand that. Okay, yeah, well, we get he's out of print because of WWE licensing rules. That obviously we can't keep making him because of his agreement with the with that company. But when it's something like Aerial Lipstick, that's a wholly owned property of SRG Universe.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little bit like, well, the reason we took her out of print is because we thought she was too good. And you're going to have the same thing. People say probably the same thing I say about the original EC Splash. Well, if it's too good for you to make it, why is it too good for it to be played?
Yeah.
Why isn't it too good for it to be? So now, granted, again, this is early. We still have like over 4 months till 2020. So again, all this stuff is in flux. It could change. They could get revised. They could get feedback. So this could all change. But right now, if the solution is just take certain problem things out of print, I don't know if that's the solution. They also talked about taking certain cards out of print, which to me was like, well, what's the card that's a problem that's in print? Can you think of any?
Not off the top of my head. I mean, the only ones that I could see they would take out of print is like 718 Press Slam Full Nelson. Simply because, it's like that slot range 19 through 21, like you're either playing that 95% of the time you're playing that or the elbow strikes, leg lock, and neck breaker. So
Right.
by taking those power cards out of print, maybe they're hoping that it'll open up the door to other people playing their newer cards that are getting printed to try to move that product. But I don't see that as a. Well, I would just print cards that are just as good as 718 or just even stronger.
Well, so would I, because to me, if you were to do what you just said, take out the 718, press slam, and full Nelson, the obvious thing is just to shift to elbow strikes, neck breaker, leg lock, or cards similar to that. Especially because now they just put out save the bacon, that doesn't work for me, brother, and swing and a miss.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, now those are cards that I actually looked at. I built a deck last night and packed a swing and the miss in it.
And those are in the 19 through 21 slots.
Those are 19 to 21 slots too, because they're essentially replacements for leg lock, neck breaker, and
they're like a ramp up version of it because they're going to be effective copying the text of certain cards. So I could see why they would do that, but at the same time, it's not going to solve any problems. It's just going to create more of an issue. I don't think that taking cards out of print is the way to go. It's just going to create an issue with the secondary market, which there's, buyers set their own price essentially. Like, it's whatever that's worth to somebody, like what their person's willing to pay.
Yeah.
Like AJ Styles, for example. I mean, he's not worth $500-$600 to me, but he may be to somebody else.
Yeah. So I'm still kind of waiting to see on this thing, but I'm not. I don't know that that's the right call, but we'll see. That's just my opinion. I don't know if that's right. Also, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say what I said before. I just think that it's gonna have people. If you had one copy of a card, right? Like a 718, you wouldn't want to trade that, right? You know what I mean? You'd want to hold that because it's not getting banned. It's just out of print.
Right. Also makes me wonder if people are going to try to basically make a rush on certain competitor cards that they think might get taken out of print. Like if you think Immortal Warrior, the original Immortal Warrior, is going to be taken out of print, you might try to buy up as many as you can, hoping to flip them in 6 months, 9 months.
Here's the thing about that.
Yeah.
The independent competitors like Johnny Gargano, Candice LeRae, Ricochet, they're still on the website, and I thought months ago like they were going to be low in stock and that they were going to go out of off sold out basically, and they're still there.
Yeah, the Ricochet thing I'm somewhat surprised at. Maybe it's possible they did a large final print run and that he just wasn't selling as high as some of the other ones. Gargano makes sense because Gargano was gonna go up to the main roster, and then when he essentially didn't, I could see they maybe went ahead and printed him again. Because
Gargano is sold out now.
Yeah, but because he was sold out, then he came back, so it's possible that they ordered. It's possible that they basically ordered a bunch before he went out. I mean, who knows? Because I don't know how popular Ricochet. I don't see a lot of people playing Ricochet.
Ricochet is sold out now as well too.
Yeah,
I haven't been on the website in quite some time, so I apologize for speaking.
No, that's fair. No, I mean because and again, just because it's sold out doesn't mean that they don't actually. Sometimes there's a little bit of difference between what physical.
Look at something like Flip Smiley. He was sold out forever, and then just at what was the event recently?
Gen Con. They had him.
Spin the wheel. They had like 5 or 6 copies of him.
Well, maybe they just found him. I mean, it's possible. It's a big basement.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, and there are a lot of cards down there. It's possible that when they're getting ready to do a big convention like a Gen Con, they go through and they really take a much more detailed inventory, and they just find stuff that's sitting around they didn't know was there. I mean, I don't know how often they're down there, but also the we talked last week about the Creative card contest.
Mm-hmm.
They whittled it down to the final 4.
It was very close. I looked the other day. It was like Hot Tag had 50 and Green Mist had 51.
Green Mist beat them by 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah. I think actually, even though it says plus 50 and plus 51, those 3 photos next to it count as votes. So it's actually 54-53.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I think the idea is that each photo represents a vote, and then because there are more than 3 people that voted, the plus 51 is all the other photos for all the other. So yes, super close. So And then the other two were Second Wind and Small Package. And so let me just go through those again for people who, if you don't remember, and I wish they would have posted these descriptions there because I didn't remember them all. But the big leader is Green Mist. It's a number 22 follow-up strike. You take one card from your discard pile and add it to your hand. Draw a card. +1 to your next turn roll. If stopped, you lose by disqualification. Hot Tat. Yeah.
There's no skill requirement on Green Mist, right?
No skill requirement on Green Mist.
So I don't see why that wouldn't just be like the holy grail of number 22s now.
It's really good. I mean, to be able to basically draw a card, take a card, and add +1 to your next turn roll. Yeah, that to me is just. I mean, the only reason if you need to like search, I can't remember what the equivalent of a double leg
flying knee strike.
Flying knee strike. If you need to have flying knee strike, the new one in there, to go get a card, I can see you still packing that. But this one,
that's only you're only gonna. That card does half of what flying knee strike does. I mean,
yeah, because it lets you search your discard pile, where essentially flying knee lets you search deck or discard pile. Yeah, this lets you go straight to your discard pile.
And for any card, not just a strike.
Right, and for any card, and you get +1 to your turn roll, and you get to draw a card. So it's incredibly strong. I mean, yeah, it's potential that you could lose by DQ.
But as we said last week, there are ways around that. By bumps the ref, the APA, the entrance APA entrance card.
Yeah.
Lots of ways around that.
I mean, trios format will now let you. As far as I know, tornado tag and trios still may be no disqualification formats. A lot of stipulations are no disqualification, so there are definitely times where you'll absolutely want to pack this. The next highest one, hot tag, number 16, follow up strike. If you have another follow up in play, your partner may play one lead or follow up this turn as if it were their turn.
So, if you have another follow up in play, your partner can play another card, right?
Right, can play another lead or follow up as if it were their turn.
Okay. See, I have a feeling that they'll print both of these cards. I don't see why they wouldn't. As I said before, I think that the tag team format needs more cards. I know that they did the headlock kick set there, and then they did the stops now, of course, in the Freak Show pack. But I just think that there needs to be more cards for tag team, or even cards for I was thinking the other day, cards for cage matches like escape the ring or out the door, or slam the head in the door. Cards that have normal text for a regular match, but it also has a caveat that'll help you if it's in a cage match.
I could see that kind of thing. Yeah, absolutely. Again, I have my bias because my card was called Hot Tag, and I feel like if this comes out, I'll never be able to get my card in the game. But
you could always revise the title a little bit. There's plenty of action for tag matches of names that they didn't do.
Yeah, it's kind of hard. I don't know if there's another name. But the only thing that'd be interesting with this is because first off, again, we talked about the whole being able to copy this last week. If you're going to be able to allowed or not allowed to do that.
Wait, I have one quick question before you get into that. Does this say the text says your partner can play a lead or follow up?
Right.
Okay, so your partner could play a lead, play Call to the Crowd, and then play a finish off of Call to the Crowd.
I was going to bring that up too, that they could absolutely do that too. Or or depending on, or if they had a follow up that's like super kick over the top, where at crowd meter 3 it's a finish that can play something like that, where it's a combo, where it's both.
Mm-hmm.
You could play Schoolboy off this for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Or you could play, if you're Snake Pit, you could do Snake Bite and hit him with a finish.
Yeah.
Finishers that are leads.
Yeah, so there are a lot of options with this card, and it's just, So if you make this card, I would essentially try to do something to basically either make this so it can't be copied by the Save the Bacon type cards, or something else. Because to me, unless they're going to say it's okay to copy, because to me this card right here would open up that can of worms.
Well, I don't think you would be able to copy it because it's kind of essentially the same thing as Call to the Crowd, but in a tag team format, and you
Well,
can't copy the Call to the Crowd.
it's a little more specific because it says you can play it as if it was their turn. So that text is a little more specific than what's on Call to the Crowd. Because if I'm playing a card as if it were my turn, and you'd be copying that part that says if I'm playing this as if it were my turn, that's a little more specific than just copying the text off of a. So I would stop because for example, you play that card against me, I stop it, or you play another card against me, I stop it, I copy hot tag. Now my partner can play a lead or follow up this turn, meaning my opponent's turn, as if it were actually their turn. That is much more conducive to being copied.
Yeah, but at the same time, though, I can still see why Save the Bacon would allow you should be able to hypothetically copy Calls the Crowd and play a card this turn, because it says you may play one extra additional card this turn. This turn is the turn that you're in, the turn that you're stopping your opponent's card, which is their turn. So this turn you should be able to play something on because the turn hasn't ended. It's still a turn.
I agree with that. No, my whole point with this is saying that one of the reasons they're saying you can't do that, at least one of the reasons John told me, was because the language that you're copying on Call of the Crowd isn't specific enough to allow you to play a card on your opponent's turn. To me, this language is more specific and may very well trigger that one.
Well, that's why I had said this in the past. Grammar is everything. Especially when you're printing a card game, you have to be grammatically correct with everything. Be as specific as possible.
Right.
Right. So what's the other cards that are in contention?
The other cards that got in are second. That was hot tag. Second wind. This they follow grapple number 17. Your opponent's next turn roll is -1 for each of their follow-up you have in play. When this card is in play and you have 2 or fewer cards in hand, at the end of any player's turn, draw 1 card. So this is very much like a powerful impact, but to me it's more of it's like a combination of a powerful impact and making an impact, where it's got the first clause like the powerful impact does, but the second part is very much like making an impact. It's kind of an anti-aerial card.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It's actually, the second clause isn't quite the same, but they're both the same flavor, which is they're both kind of anti-aerial, anti-burial decks.
I didn't vote for this card. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't. That wasn't one of my votes.
I voted for I voted for all the cards except for Hot Tag again, just because I'm biased. I'm sorry, Lawman Nick. I just it was anything else.
Hot Tag was Lawman Nick's card.
I believe so, because for when it popped up, he's like, vote for Hot Tag, so I'm pretty sure it's his card.
Gotcha.
And he's very happy that it basically came within one vote of being in the league, which, he should be. It's a great accomplishment. If I'd have voted for it, he'd been tied for the league. So, sorry, Nick, but just apologize for the bias, but it's there. I can't do nothing. And then the last one's a small package. Number 26, Lead Grapple. This card's also finish. If your finish roll is 8 or higher, it is -3. Shuffle 2 cards from your discard pile.
I did not vote for this card either.
I did vote for this card. It's just a solid card. I mean, it's just your variation on your I think a roll, backslide and a.
Yeah, I know, but there's already 2. I know that they wanted me. Whoever had this idea, they're thinking, well, let's do a version of it that now shuffles stuff into the deck. But at the same time, that's where I think that just like there's a low blow, a blatant chokehold, I think that there should be a pin finish in the 27 slot. And I said this last week. Yeah. And that's where my bias comes in, because the card that I submitted was a 27 version of this.
Yeah.
Pretty much the exact same thing.
But yeah, I think, and they asked now. I believe if you go to the SRG Supershow discussion forum, discussion group on Facebook. They're asking people for feedback. I don't know if the feedback is your vote or not, but I would recommend going and leaving the feedback because that could be considered your vote for what's going to win. So if you're interested in seeing one of these four get made into a card, I would absolutely comment.
Who knows? Maybe they'll just print all four of them at the end of the day.
It's possible. Who knows? I think I'm leaning toward green this though. I think it's a really interesting, really cool card.
Yeah, whoever thought of that card, kudos. That is a very strong and awesome card. That's the type of card, going back to what we were talking about earlier. Like if they're gonna pull a 7-1-8, a full Nelson, and a press slam, that's the kind of stuff that they got to put into those slots in order to get people away from playing the same old. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same 1 through 30 decks that everybody pretty much will have.
And it's balanced because basically you throw an armbar down, and your opponent throws an armbar down, and you lose. I mean,
it's fair enough.
That's absolutely fair. I mean, you're taking a risk stacking this. So this is definitely for an aggro deck.
It's a card where, it's one of those situations where you want to hold it in your hand. You kind of want to bait them. Maybe play something else that's kind of a stronger follow-up, a strong follow-up strike, to try to exhaust all of their stops from their hand before you play this. So that way you bait them into getting this card out, getting something back from your discard pile, drawing that extra card, hoping to win the turn roll, and then go for the kill with your finish strike, maybe.
Yeah. All right. And then there's been no news on Plaid Saturday. It's still, I believe, November 9th is what we said.
Plaid Saturday, too, should be a pretty interesting event. I know that last year's Plaid Saturday had a pretty good turnout, and obviously, as we said, the events of Plaid Saturday kind of kicked in motion the Kirk Polka movement. So given that he's our current Underworld champion, I think it's only appropriate, like you see the whole event come full circle to where he was last year to where he is today.
Yeah, I remember that. I unfortunately had to leave early that match, but I would have loved to see him using AJ Styles taking on Polverino using aerial lipstick. Was the finals of that.
And Ariel took the L.
Yep, Ariel lost that one, so because that was the one where they apparently they banned Immortal Warrior from being in the tournament.
So it's only appropriate that John Polverino goes extra try hard and says, "Okay, I'll play Ariel lipstick."
So that's what happened in that one. Yeah, that was the first. That was the first big. Well, no, that's not true. Because I went to Gen Con that year, but that was kind of the first big one. I know that was the first big event we covered on the show. Was Plaid Saturday, the original Plaid Saturday.
I don't believe I was on the show at that time.
You weren't.
Yeah, I think that I came on the show in January.
Yeah, you weren't on the show back when we did back for Plaid Saturday or for Paxum.
Yeah, I came on right at the end of December and January, the very beginning of January. Actually, I think my first episode was when I won my first membership ring off of Steve.
Yeah, it very well could have been. Yeah. All right.
Trip down memory lane there.
We'll trip down memory lane. So yeah, coming full circle. Yeah, we're getting close to being a year doing this show. Pretty crazy.
What do you think? I think we should be one of the tag teams that gets picked for the tag team tournament of champions. We've only lost once, Mike, and we lost to the people who are the inaugural LFF tag team champions.
I don't know. We've only ever played in the one tournament though too.
That's all it takes though. Make your name.
Well, I mean, I think they're looking for people who have a little. Because Girthquake got in. Now, granted, they do have their name is Girthquake. They do have their own merch.
We'll see.
So, yeah, I know. Colin, locally here, they got in, and then Colin and Sierra Simon got in.
Nice. We knocked them out of contention from the top 16 at the Grand Gathering.
They've made a lot of cuts. So they've been a very consistent tag.
They are. They're a consistent tag team.
They're very. So I would say they absolutely deserve a spot. Part of the Impact. Yeah, I know that Steve and John, I believe, will be at Plaid Saturday. John has said he's going to be at Marktoberfest. And then, of course, John Calais and Leo are going to be at Bound. So the SRG brass will be making their way around. Of course, they're all going to be at Dragon Con this weekend. So for those of you going to Dragon Con, I hope you have a great time.
Absolutely. Hopefully those dice are in their favor, rolling plenty of 10s who attend.
Yep.
And there's always going to be new people attracted to the game at these events.
Yeah, Dragon Con is a convention I've never been to. Maybe someday, but not this year.
Well, like you said, it's kind of on the pricey range.
For me, what helps me with things is they're close. The travel's not. I don't have to pay for a flight to and from. I don't have to pay for any like travel or lodging when at Origin. It's just I just drive from my house. And then Gen Con's Gen Con again. I don't have to like fly. I mean, there's a hotel cost, but
How close are you to PAX?
PAX is like a 7-hour drive.
Did you drive that last year, or did you fly?
I actually went with a bunch of guys, and I don't know if I'll be able to go with them because we went for HeroClix, which because the HeroClix World Championships were there, and they're not going to be there this year. So
okay. I
don't know if I'd be traveling with them, how I'd be getting there or not. I don't know if those same guys would go back, considering that game's not there. I mean, because I know it's 7 hours. It's Ohio Turnpike, so it's you have turnpike fees.
Right.
Right. And I don't know, 7 hours in a car. I don't know. I'm not as young as I used to be. I don't know if I could do 7 hours driving by myself.
That's a tough one.
Yeah. So I may or may not be going to PAX Unplugged. It'd be cool if I could go, but we'll see. We'll see. But for everyone going to all the conventions, have a safe travels to and from there, and have fun while you're there. Looking forward to Talking Universe live from Atlanta.
Hot Atlanta.
That's right, and go down there, hang out with Ted Turner, go to the Coca-Cola Museum, learn about the history of Coca-Cola. Trying to think of all the stuff that's in Atlanta to do. Go see
a Braves game.
Yeah, you're about to say go to a Braves game. Go to wherever they play football and do the Dirty Bird.
That would be what's the Falcons play where? I don't even know where the Falcons play.
I don't know. Of course, I don't know the name of the stadium.
You can go to the Georgia Dome.
Could go to the Georgia Dome. I don't know if there's Georgia in Atlanta.
Probably not.
All right, but so I think that's going to be it for all the news. Anything you want to bring up?
No.
All right, so I'm just going to run down the playgroup list. That'll be it. So, at my own local promotion, the home of Earthquake and Zombie Cakes, Buckeye Championship Wrestling. We play Saturday nights at the Guard Tower, 6 p.m. start time. 2R North, Rust Belt Championship Wrestling plays at Recess Games or North Homestead. They play Monday nights at 6 p.m. Monday Mayhem. That's what they call that. They're also going to be the host of Marktoberfest, September 21st, which is, I believe, about second or third Saturday. I believe it's third Saturday, September. But September 21st for sure. LFF Tri-State plays at a store of Fire and Dice in Lynbrook, New York. They play Thursdays and Fridays around 7 p.m. I believe Loudmouth Leo Larynx is the current champion of LFF Tri-State. I know that Steve Resk is chasing that championship hard.
He wants it back.
Yep. The City of Champions Wrestling plays outside of Pittsburgh and Hopewell, Pennsylvania at Titan Game Shop. They play Sundays at noon. As I record this, they should be starting relatively soon.
Within the hour.
Yep. True American Heroes plays at Frontline Games in Clarksville, Tennessee. They play Saturdays at 6 p.m. That is the group run by the True American guy, Gregory Patrick Scott. Florida Cardboard Wrestling plays at House Rules Game in Kissimmee, Florida. This is the home of Robert the Brain Dunn. There's also some, apparently there's going to be a group starting in Jacksonville, Florida.
The more groups, the merrier.
Absolutely. So, and hopefully some of those guys will go to Dragon Con, since that's just right up the road. And I don't know how far it is, but I don't believe it.
I would say probably anywhere from 3 to 4 hours.
Probably. Michigan Wrestling Alliance, Fun for All Comics and Games in Ypsilanti, Michigan is the home of them. That is the alliance that it was run for quite a long time by the man behind the Coven, Damian Thorne, I believe former, perhaps current spokesperson for the Coven. Fortunately, he won't be running that going forward. Be run by the former BCW general manager, James. Also in Michigan, a couple other locations. Destiny Games has a Supershow group. They play Wednesdays from 6:30 p.m. in Westland, Michigan. And Fanfare Comics in Kalamazoo, Michigan has a group that plays second and fourth Sunday of the month, 12 to 2 p.m. Out west, you have Sin City Wrestling. Plays at Atomic Trading in Las Vegas, Nevada, Wednesday nights at 6. And Wizards Card Championship Wrestling plays at Norman, Oklahoma, at Wizards Asylum Comics and Games. They play usually Sundays at noon, but check the store because it's not a regular game. Out in your neck of the wood, Revolutionary Championship Wrestling has 3 different locations. New Bedford, Massachusetts is the home of New England Comics. They have games Wednesdays and Saturdays. Wednesdays from 6, Saturdays from 11 to 4. In Westport, Massachusetts, Tabletop Games hosts a group Tuesdays from 3:30 to 6. And in Fall River, Game King. Sundays around 5 to 9 p.m. they run there.
And September 14th, there will be an event in Fall River where I believe the SRG boss will be in attendance. I know the Italian Bombada is on the card for that event. He's going to be going against Evil Ed in a hat versus hat match, so that should be entertaining.
Yeah, I can't imagine the Bombada with Sans hat, so I really hope he does not lose his hat. Although Eddie Fury did lose the hair, although it is back now, slightly different.
It's kind of tough to grow back a horse head.
Well, if you can do it once, I'm sure you can do it twice. Island Life Wrestling is the group that plays at East End Gaming in Oakdale, New York. They usually play Wednesdays and Fridays. Contact the store for times. Outpost Wrestling out in Arizona, Glendale, Arizona to be specific. At Outpost Games, they have a game Saturdays from 11 to 2 p.m. And then the last few places are out in the East Coast area. Meeple People Wrestling has a group at Highlander Games in Boonton, New Jersey. Alternate Universes, Bluebell has a group at store Alternate Universes in East Norton, Pennsylvania. I checked both those stores for days and times. I'll have it listed. And Alternate Universes Holmes has a store in Holmes, Pennsylvania, and they play Sundays at noon. And that is it for all the local play groups I'm aware of. If you would like to have your local play group added to this list, if you want to let us know who you are, where you are, when you play, please reach out to us. You can contact either Nate or I through Facebook Instant Messenger. You can also email us at outlawmudcast@gmail.com. That's outlawmudcast@gmail.com. Or you can send us a direct message on Twitter. We're at Outlaw Mudcast on Twitter. That also includes any questions or comments you may have for us. Contact us the same way.
And we're also looking to bring back Deck Tech in the near future because it's been quite some time since we went over some decks. So if you have anything you're working on, whether it be for singles, tag, tornado that is, or trios, and you would like it to be featured on the show, please feel free to submit that to us, and we would love to go over your decks and talk about it.
Yeah, same thing with, I know we didn't do it this week, but I believe next week we'll look at a couple of the new competitors that just came out from Gen Con 2. So give you a little something to look forward to, and probably also a nice Dragon Con recap.
Absolutely.
As a Sunday night, yeah. 5 days of gaming, man. That would be such a.
I don't think we mentioned Grand Gathering Part 2 The dates were revealed is April 24th through 26th. Is it 24th through 26th?
I do not.
Calais, after he took a chop to the chest from TJ Marconi, revealed it. I think it's
24th through
24th,
26th. Yeah, 24th
24th.
through 20. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
The 24th is a Friday. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 24th through 26th April. It's the
In Louisville.
in Louisville. Yep.
Just wanted to put that out there too.
Yeah, Nate. Quick question. Since we just brought it about, do you pronounce the capital of Kentucky as Louisville or Louisville?
Louisville.
No, you pronounce it as Frankfurt. Thank you.
I didn't hear. Well, that's a trick question. I heard. How do you pronounce Louisville?
Gotcha. All right. For Nathan Wagner, I'm Michael Kirk. Nate, any last words?
Eat good and roll better, baby.
Thank you and good day.